Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we are going to be going over the Thunder's offseason grade. We'll talk about what grade they have received so far for their moves and what they've done this offseason. We are going to talk about who might take the biggest leap in this next upcoming season for the Thunder, who will kind of take that next leap into whether it might be stardom or a starting spot or whatever that might be. It is also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Day in OKC, the final day for all of the Thunder players. It is finally Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Day. We'll give him his segment. And then at the end, we will talk about another possible guy that the Thunder will be linked to throughout the entire season. But first off, we're going to kind of talk about the grade that the Thunder should receive for their moves that they've made this offseason so far. And obviously, the moves haven't been anything major because the Thunder don't need to do anything major. The big things that they have done, they have drafted Thomas Sorber with the 15th overall pick, and looks like a guy who's just going to fill that plug-in of when Hartenstein, we have to release him after this upcoming season. He's going to fit that role and mold right there. And then we, at pick 44, we got Brooks Barnhizer, who has kind of skyrocketed himself into conversations about possibly trading an Usman Janger, releasing a Brandon Carlson to get him a spot on the roster because of how well he played in Summer League, what he showed on the defensive side, his rebounding, and his ability to have a good offensive game. And then you have the biggest news of all of the Thunder extending the Big Three until the 2031 season, and it's including Shai, J-Dub, and Chet all getting their max extensions, J-Dub and Chet getting their rookie, and then Shai getting the super max with how his season has gone, but we'll dive into that in a second. But overall, I think the Thunder should get a B plus slash A minus. Interested to hear what you guys think, but I'm kind of on that. I'm not sure if the Thunder necessarily did anything. And speaking, they also traded Dylan Jones to the Wizards for a second-round pick, but those are some smaller moves. I think a B plus slash A minus, just because I don't think they did enough, which they didn't need to. So it's not like they needed to have an A plus offseason. They did what they needed to do, and they didn't bring anybody in. We drafted our two players, and we're just kind of recycling the same team over because of that. And I think that's why it's a B plus. It's a good off season. They did what they needed. They extended their Big Three, so you have those guys for the rest of the 2020s. So I don't know if that earns an A minus. Maybe it does to you guys because we were able to get all those guys extended, and now we drafted a guy who, in the 15th overall pick, looks like he can fill right in where Hartenstein is with that big body, big athletic rebounder. And then you get a guy in the second round who looks like the second coming of Alex Caruso with his defense and rebounding ability. So for me, it kind of ends in that spot of a B plus. I don't think we necessarily did enough to be an A minus, but me saying a B plus is me not upset at the offseason at all. I think we did what we needed to do. I think if we would have lost the finals, there would have been this offseason would have looked a lot different because we were so close, and I think we would have made a trade or two to kind of mix up the team. But when you win the championship, most championship teams don't need to go out there and make a trade for another star, fill certain holes. They should already have that. And with the Thunder, their only hole being three-point shooting, their guys are just going to get more experience in that and hopefully in the lab working on that. But so for me, the Thunder have received a B plus for their offseason moves, and I think it's teetering right there on that A minus look. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think it was an A plus offseason? Do you think we could have done more? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below on that. But we're going to transition now into another topic of which Thunder player might take the biggest leap next season. And this could be perceived in many different ways. It could be you think a biggest leap might be a guy on the bench that jumps into forcing them to make him start where he's winning possible sixth man of the year. Or it might be a guy like Chet where he's a quality starter, but he just got that contract. He kind of needs to prove himself with that contract, so maybe he takes the leap. Or it could be a guy like Mitchell Topic or one of the rookies that are going in there with very minimal experience, and they take that leap into what J-Dub did, where it looks like he was going to be a star right away or a high-quality player. So for me, I think there's kind of three players that instantly jump to my mind on who might take the biggest leap. It is Chet Holmgren, it is Aaron Wiggins, and honestly, for me, it is AJ Mitchell. And a bunch of different reasons for these. I think Chet, like I said, I think he can prove himself. We know he's an all-world defender. We know he's a quality starter. It's just, can he take that leap into averaging 18, 19, 20 points with 8 rebounds and 3 blocks and really cement yourself as an all-star for this next decade? And can you prove yourself to be healthy? And I think that there's a lot riding on this season with Chet, and I think we've seen him in the gym, we've seen him working on his body, and I think he will show out because I know he wants to be out there for all 82, and he's proven that he can play all 82. His rookie year, he played all 82, and that was big to prove for himself and to everybody after getting hurt before his rookie of the year to come back and play all 82 next season. And unfortunately, this season get hurt. I think he has a chance to take the biggest leap overall from just a quality starter into that all-star / like all-NBA category. And for Aaron Wiggins, I think we've all kind of been waiting on that big leap. We all know he can take it. It's just a matter of, will the Thunder give him the minutes? Will they give him the system and the amount of touches that he needs to be a guy who can legitimately win the Sixth Man of the Year? I don't know if he will get six-man minutes because the Thunder like to switch Caruso, Wiggins, and Wallace so much in that six-man role of whoever might come out. But if Wiggins starts off hot and maybe he proves himself where he can be a 15-point scorer off the bench and somehow take that leap into one of the best bench players in the entire league. And I think that could very well be done, especially with how Wiggins is as an above-average defender, plus his 3-level scoring, I think will get overlooked for most people, but I think he can definitely take that leap into it. And then the third option is Topic, a guy who people aren't going to be, outside of us in the OKC Thunder community, aren't going to be paying much attention to because he was a rookie in the last draft class, so now people aren't thinking about him, and people are going to be so focused on Cooper Flagg and all the rookies in this class. Topic could secretly go in there and quite literally earn himself into that rotation of, come playoff time, he has that role of what the Thunder wanted Josh Giddey to turn out to be, where he is a plus playmaker. He can finish at the rim. He can start developing that shot. And I think the only thing that really is his biggest weakness, which it was for Giddey, was his defense. But I think Topic's defense is miles better than what Giddey's was as a Thunder player. So I don't think that's necessarily as big of a problem. And for out of all three, if I had to put my money on one of them to take that big leap and who might take the biggest leap, for me and how the Thunder are just kind of acting, I really feel like it's Chet. I think if Chet can stay healthy and play 70-plus games again and prove he can stay healthy all season long, I don't see why he can't go out there and average 18, 8.5, 2.5 blocks and look and finish top 5 in defensive player and also earn that all-star nod, because the Thunder will once again be up there at the top of the West, and they're going to get multiple all-stars if they are, especially if Shai will continue to be an MVP candidate. J-Dub's going to average over 20. If Chet can get in there averaging 18 and 9 by the All-Star break and with 3 blocks, he might get himself that nod to be in that All-Star game. So it's just something to kind of watch out on. Let me know who you guys think might take the biggest leap. It might be one of those three. It might be somebody I didn't even mention, but let me know down below who you guys think might take the biggest leap for next season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Day in Oklahoma City. This is the final day of the mayor giving all 15 OKC players their own day in the month of July. And we ended off with the MVP of the league, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We talked about him so much since this channel has gotten started. He's had an otherworldly past year, including not only what he's done with the NBA, but earning Best Male Athlete of the Year at the ESPYs, being the 2K26 cover, starting his own shoe deal, and just having a shoe brand that has taken off over the past year. And now you add the NBA champion, you got your contract extension, which will make him the highest paid annual player in the NBA once it kicks in. And he's just a guy, I was thinking about it, that besides Westbrook, a guy who just came in here and has instantly won over the fans, who was here during the COVID time with Chris Paul, who learned under Chris Paul, and now has turned into a guy who is still just so team oriented. It feels like he should just be another one of the role players, because it's so much about what the team did and not what he did. And I think for us, OKC, we can't be much more grateful that we got Shai, and we just absolutely adore him, and we just want to give all of our thanks to him. And he's done so much for the Thunder and staying through, and now he will stay as probably the greatest Thunder by the end of it, if he's not already. And then quickly, we'll just kind of talk about a possible John Collins trade. I don't think this is necessarily big news, but it's just something that we had to keep our eye on, because the Thunder, like I say all the time, are going to be involved with a bunch of stuff. But a team or a guy the Thunder could look at is John Collins, who is a part of the Atlanta Hawks, is another big guy, just like PJ Washington, kind of fit that wing role of a big, lengthy guy who can shoot in the corners, can shoot the three ball, and play high-quality defense. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Do you guys think it's just a waste of time kind of talking about it? You think it's a legitimate thing to look at come trade deadline, because the Thunder will have so many different pieces they could throw at? So let me know down below what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, let me know what you guys think of the OKC's offseason. What grade would you give them? Who do you think might take the biggest leap for the Thunder, whether it is Chet or somebody else that I didn't even mention? But that'll be it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.